Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the broadcast. Live viewers, replay viewers, thank you so much, MGK, and the other followers that are coming in. Invite your followers in your network. I'm so happy to have you here. I am Sparkle Smith. I help individuals and communities heal through writing and education. Again, I'm Sparkle Smith. I help individuals heal through writing and education. Invite your followers on your networks. Got my workout gear on today. I decided to get back in the gear of things and work out. How many of you know you can get in the hustle bustle of life and just working and making things happen for your life and just feel like you don't have the time, but then you have to be intentional about just making the time. Even if you mentally think you don't have the time, just put something on pause because your health is important. I think because we get drained because of work and all the activities we do, we don't think we have time to exercise those important things. But that's the time that you really need to consider, not to make an excuse or realize that you can't afford not to make the time for those things. So thank each and everyone for you coming on. I wanted to talk to you about something very important about is it in writing. So again, I'm Sparkle Smith. I'm a writer, and I help individuals and communities heal through writing and education. And so what I do is I teach and educate about writing. And so one way of important to make sure you know that you're progressing in something, in a goal or your emotions or just maturity, is by writing it down, because you can go back and look at it months later, years later, and say, oh wow, I felt that way that once upon a time, but I've grown. I'm in a different place now. Or you can say, oh wow, I felt that way back then, and I have that much revelation about what's going on with me, and I still haven't progressed and done much about it. This is a concern. What do I need to do different to make an impact and a change so I won't backtrack? So writing is very important. A lot of people say, they want something confirmed, they don't want people to renege on them or to change their mind or to change the story about some type of agreement. They say, okay, we need to put this in writing. People document stuff. They date it and they time it as documentation or proof that this was what happened on such and such time. This is what happened on such and such date. And so that's why it's very important for you to write things. It allows you to see your progress. It allows you to open your mind to express yourself. It's very important for us to express our emotions. There's a naturopathic doctor, Dr. Natalie Olson. She's phenomenal. She used to come on Periscope all the time. I think she's on Facebook. She has a website, I think, Sozo Health Today. But anyway, she gives natural remedies for healing the body. And she had a teaching, and she talked about the emotions. And she said that a lot of people have digestive issues. She documented a lot of people have digestive issues, and it's due to inability to process emotions. A lot of times people don't know how to process their emotions because they don't know how to verbalize what they're saying. And the best way to start to verbalize what you're saying is by writing it down. I feel this way because. And I'm not telling you anything that I don't practice, because, like, for example, I'll just give you a snippet without breaking confidentiality or anything. So I'm an educator, right? So I educate people. I teach adults. I teach children, middle schoolers, teach people of all ages. So I had to do a reflection, my own personal self-reflection of the day of my teaching, reflecting, when I started out teaching middle school 10 years ago, basis on my just recent experience teaching yet today and yesterday, documenting how I feel. Well, I felt, very tired, but still fulfilled in helping
the kids I teach. And, the kids I taught 10 years ago are totally different, but I reflected. 10 years ago, I was not as confident. I was somewhat shy. I was afraid, had a lot of fear. Um, but now, if a child does something or says something that's out of order or disrespectful or just stare at you mean, I can address it and deal with it in the most professional way, but at the same time just laugh at it because I'm confident. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't stress me. I'm just confident and just know how to engage them on their level. But just realizing, hey, I've really grown. And that's come with some prayer, some fasting, some giving up some things that were barriers and roadblocks to me being confident, to me being effective, to me being more emotionally mature than I was 10 years ago, and being more emotionally mature now. And so that comes with writing. So if I didn't write it down and reflect on how I felt 9 years ago, at the end of the day during teaching basis, how I feel now, I would have no idea that I matured, that I progressed, or what I need to work on. And expressing your feelings can be a very frightening thing for people because oftentimes people have been taught to suppress their emotions. Said expressing feelings can be frightening because a lot of people have been taught to suppress their emotions even in the beginning stage of childhood. That probably has framed their mindset. When you're a child, hush, no crying, you're too loud, you make too much noise. A lot of parents may have had bad nerves, or grandparents, and all that hollering and crying was just a little bit too much for them, so they'll say, dry that tears up, shut up, be quiet, hush up. Or they may say children should be seen and not heard. And that really causes your voice to be muted. No one should ever say that. And, back then they thought it was respectful to say children should be seen and not heard. Thank you for coming in. Live viewers, replay viewers, I so appreciate you coming in. I'm Sparkle Smith. I'm a writer and educator. I help individuals and communities heal through writing education. So, telling a child you should be seen and not heard, that can speak volume to people. That may make people feel like they don't have a voice. Their voice is muted. Their voice is limited. And even in adulthood, they may take on that vow or belief system that they have from childhood. Well, I should be seen, but I shouldn't be heard. And that can open the door for so many different things. Shyness, inability to deal with conflict, fear of conflict, acting out in a way to get attention so that you're seen but you're not heard. So it's very important that we understand who we are even through our writing, and we get close to our identity through writing. So it's very important that we get the courage to write. Now, it may start just by actual writing, just taking a pen, writing down some things. You may not be able to put how you feel in full sentences, but start off with adjectives: joyous, happy, grieved, anger, upset, lonely, optimistic. Start out that way. Thank you for those hearts. Appreciate it. Again, starting to write down just one word at a time. If you can't muster up the strength to write down and fully express yourself through complete sentences because you have some blocked emotions, or you just won't really know how to express yourself, or it's just a frightening thing, start off saying, you're hurt, you're frustrated. At least, you're coming into your truth. And then when you have all these things, you can say, okay, all these adjectives, well, I feel this way because. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for the hearts. I'm Sparkle Smith. I'm a writer, and I help individuals and communities heal through writing and education. So once you have all these adjectives written down, then you can be able to start with a sentence. Well, I feel this way because, and you may not fully know how you feel or why you feel the way you feel in its entirety, completely, but you have some idea. Well, my sister upset me, and I don't think it was necessary for her to upset me, and she could have approached the situation in a better way, and I don't feel I deserve that. But then you have to be honest with yourself. Did you do something that you think that may have provoked this person? Okay, yes, I did, and I shouldn't have, and I need to deal with those feelings. Or no, I didn't, and it wasn't fair, and I felt hurt, but I'm not going to let that hurt and rejection sow seed and stay in my soul and my heart as a wound that I don't know how to get out. And then it becomes a problem and an offense later on that you don't even realize where it came from. But because you didn't have the ability to express yourself emotionally by writing it down, how you felt, I'm frustrated, and then why you feel this way. Well, because this was unwarranted. I didn't deserve that. So it's very important that we begin to understand our feelings. Not that we wear our feelings on our sleeve, but sometimes we have no clue why we're feeling the way we do, because if we don't write them down, we will be wearing them on our sleeve, because wearing them on your sleeve is a result of mismanaged emotions, unbalanced emotions, inability to process emotions. And so that will even cause health issues. Digestive issues are major in our world today. A lot of people can't digest meat and lactose, and just a lot of digestive concerns that have come up that really were not an issue years ago. Why is that? Is it because we're getting busier in life and have less time to reflect, self-express in a healthy way, and we're just going on to get by and performing, and in a rat race almost, feeling like we don't have the ability or the time or the right to express ourselves because life demands so much of us. Thank you so much for the hearts. I think it's Rock Pop. Appreciate you coming in. I'm Sparkle Smith. I'm a writer, and I am a author and writer, and I help individuals and communities heal through writing and education. So what I'm talking about is putting things in writing. Legally, people, when they have contracts and agreements with people so that someone won't renege on their word or go back on their word, they say put it in writing. Well, one way for you to be able to progress in who you are, your emotions, your life, your goals, is to write down how you're feeling, where you are. And I gave the example when I first started in the broadcast is that I do journaling, self-reflection, self-journaling all the time. And so what I do is I write down how I'm feeling, and then I go back and reflect if it's a certain issue, especially in my profession. I educate people from all walks of life, adults, children, toddlers, things of that nature. So my teaching experience 10 years ago and how I felt at the end of the day in connecting with students and interacting with them is totally different now. So back then, my journal looked like I was afraid, I was new. There was a lot of questions. I was nervous. I was frustrated, angry, offended, how I was treated by sometimes those that I taught. But now, because I've come into a level of maturity, and it's taken some steps to get there. I didn't just get there overnight. There were a lot of things I had to do to get there. But now I look back and say, I'm very confident. Even back then, the work was rewarding, but it was very challenging. Much more challenging now because back then I didn't have a lot of experience, so I was just feeling my way through. There was fear. There was frustration. Sometimes if you don't come to a level of maturity, there can be offense. So now it's like, okay, I'm confident. If a student says something to me that's out of the way, that's not okay, then I don't really get Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing those hearts, tapping those hearts. I appreciate you coming in. I'm Sparkle Smith. I'm a writer, and I help individuals and communities heal through writing and education. I so appreciate you coming in. I'm talking about writing and putting things in writing. And so sometimes when you self-reflect on your individual feelings, like for example, when I was teaching 10 years ago versus now, I was afraid, I was frustrated, I took things personal. But now, because I've come into a level of maturity, I'm confident. Things that people could say negative to me, I could just laugh at most of them and not let it penetrate my heart and my feelings. Thank you so much for coming in. Invite your followers and your networks. I appreciate you for tapping those hearts. But now you can reflect on where you were. Doesn't have to be a couple of years. It could be a couple of months, and say, okay, I've matured. Or you can look at something and document and say, oh, I haven't matured. I'm still feeling this way, and it was 10 years ago. I still have a detailed revelation of how I was, but I haven't changed. And that's the gift of art of writing, to express yourself. And a lot of times people are frightened to write, to express themselves, because they haven't been given a space to write, to express themselves, or to write, to heal. They just suppressed emotions. That's why a lot of people have digestive issues. A lot of people are lactose intolerant, tolerant to a lot of things. And often that's because of an inability to express emotion. There's a doctor, Natalie Olson. She's a naturopath, and she's very good in remedies, herbal remedies, and she talks about digestive issues. And one of the issues or digestive issues is a lot of people have because of their inability to process emotions. And so a lot of times we've not been given a space to process our emotion. I know some people as children, I've heard this when I was a child, children should be seen and not heard. Children should be seen and not heard. Or if you're crying too loud and your parents cannot handle that, they say, dry those tears, shut it up. And so a child is put in a place where, they can't express themselves emotionally and cry when they need to cry because their parents are telling them to keep silent, drop those tears. Children should be seen, not heard. And then they begin to pick up this pattern even when they're older. Okay, well, I'm not going to deal with this confrontation. I have fear of conflict. I want to just make the peace with everything, even if it's compromised, because I don't have a place and a space to deal with my emotions. I've been told when I was a child, children should be seen, not heard. Or if I'm crying and it's getting on the nerves of my grandparents or my parents, dry up those tears, shut it up right now, because they don't want to hear the crying. But that's your way of expressing your emotions and expressing who you are and coming into touch and processing your feelings. Not so much wearing them on your sleeve and letting them dominate you, but processing them. Because if you don't process them, they're going to stay stuck, and you don't know how to deal with those emotions, and you don't know how to express yourself. Thank you so much for those cards. You don't know what to do with these emotions, and then you just imbalanced and stuck, and that's not how it was meant to be. So what you need to do, I always encourage people who have a writer's block, especially when they're confronting emotional or trying to express themselves. You may not be able to express how you feel in a complete sentence because you may not know how you feel, or you may not feel that you have a right to express how you feel. So start off with just adjectives, hurt, angry, frustrated, happy, ecstatic, motivated. I'm feeling awesome. I'm feeling hopeful. I'm feeling determined. I'm feeling, whatever you're feeling. And then you have a whole bunch of adjectives. And then you can come with an explanation. Okay, I'm feeling this way because once you begin to see the picture of those adjectives, how you feel, you can make a connection with expressing it at another further level and take it further by writing. Okay, wow. Okay, now I understand how I'm beginning to understand how I feel because I'm feeling this way. I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm upset because this didn't have to happen. This was unnecessary. I'm happy because there's peace in my day, and I've been praying for something that I needed for a long time, and I finally got it. And now that I have it, I'm gonna, the sky's the limit. When you're feeling happy and your emotions are lit, then you can tell it. People around you can tell it. But we want to keep that momentum of being happy and joyous, because we were called to be more happy and joyous than sad or depressed or oppressed. And so it's very important that we understand who we are emotionally, not so that we can wear our feelings on our sleeves or so emotions can dominate us, but so that we can understand who we are and understand how we progress and our level of maturity, how we can handle things. And oftentimes, if we begin to understand who we are, and how we progress and how we mature, we can gauge how confident we are for the next level in our life. Well, I've matured in this area and I'm not offended as much as I was, so I can handle taking on this task or taking on this, getting a business or going back to work, because I am in a position where I'm emotionally stable and mature. I'm even able to express myself, where I'm able to verbalize in a positive, healthy setting. Someone treating me or talking to me in an abusive manner, addressing that so that I won't tolerate it. And that's another reason to be intentional about finding your way to express your emotions, because it's very important. You want to feel well. You don't want to feel depressed all the time. You don't want to feel hurt and offended all the time. And I know in most people's heart of hearts, it's not their intention to feel that way all the time. But it's a result of unbalanced emotions, unprocessed emotions that we don't even know how to express. Thank you so much for joining. I'm Sparkle Smith. I'm a writer. I help individuals and communities heal through writing education. If you click on it, well, I don't think the click is working, but if you go to the link on my bio, you can either click on Planning to Heal or Web to Heal. Let me not forget that. For any of you who want to better express yourself through writing, I have a webinar coming up. You can click on Web to Heal, or just type web to bit.ly/web to heal. Someone, if you can put that in the comments, bit.ly/web to heal. March 15th, I'll have a webinar. It's free, totally free. Sign up, invite a person. Go to bit.ly/web to heal. Again, that's bit.ly/web to heal. If someone could put that in the comments for me. You go there. You can sign up for the free webinar. It's going to be awesome. You're going to go. I'm going to take you into detail of how to understand yourself better, how to understand how to process your emotions. What's the root cause of you not being able to process your emotions, right? So if you sign up, I don't think the click is working. I don't think you can click on the link on my bio, but you can go to bit.ly/web to heal. Again, bit.ly/web to heal. And then from there, you can sign up for the webinar. For some reason, I can't type it. If someone can type bit.ly/plan to heal or bit.ly/web to heal in the comments, and you can go there and sign up. Please sign up today, the 15th of March. So it's very important. I mean, every person was meant to walk in their truth. Every person was meant to progress and be successful and to walk in maturity. And you can't walk in that if you don't know who you are, if you don't understand your emotions and balance, if you're not healing, you don't have a healthy soul. And the key to that is writing, so that you can process your emotions, so that they can be balanced, so that you can take your life to the next level. So God bless each and every one of you. I look forward to communicating with you more often. Again, go to bit.ly/web to heal. for the webinar. I'm Sparkle Smith. I'm a writer, and I teach teach you and those you serve, as well as communities and individuals, to heal through writing and education. And so it's my desire and prayer that you be healed inside and out. And it's God's prayer and desire that you be healed inside and out. And so I want to share with you that free webinar. You also get a free worksheet, a goal setting worksheet, if you sign up. So the next webinar, the next broadcast, we're going to talk more about the writing process and the emotion. I'm going to walk you through it. So stay tuned for that. More to come. God bless each and every one of you. You have a good night.